What's up, everybody? This is Johnny Basement, and we're back here in the basement for another AFL review. We're going to be doing the Sydney Swans versus the Suns, and we're going to be doing the Hawthorn Hawks versus the Essendon Bombers today. We're going to be reviewing both of those games after an exciting round one week of games. This has been an exciting weekend for me because I am all brand new, as you guys know. You guys are going along with this American on his footy journey in his first season. So every week we're just going to keep trying to move forward with what we can do. Getting the video reviews on here has been hard. Thank you guys for the comments you're leaving and trying to help me do this. A few of you have said, just like myself, can't find a lot of YouTube reactors out there that actually have highlight reviews of these games, and the AFL has such a lock on them because anytime I do a highlight review video, it gets shut down to where I can't even show it on here. So a lot of work gets put in basically for nothing, I guess. But you know what? This is all practice and stuff for me too, because you guys are here to correct me when I'm wrong. You guys are here to applaud me when I'm right. I'm trying. I do my best, and I'm doing a lot of homework. But the best thing that ever can be, if you're getting into a sport, and there's been a lot of Aussies coming into my live streams when I'm doing my Rangers or my Knicks. Listen to the announcers and watch the game. Everything I learn and study and read, it makes sense when you apply it watching the game and listening to the announcers and all the great comments that you all have been leaving me. Thank you all. Thank you all, because it has really been helpful to me moving forward. And thank you for the... Hey, word of the day. I think every week we're going to have a Johnny learned another way to pronounce Aussie terms. I say a lot of premiership, do I not? I say a lot of premiership. Premiership. That's the Aussie word for today. Premiership. A lot of you guys told me that. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for correcting me. A lot of guys in the live stream and comments were telling me last night. When I throw names out and I forget a name, I always forget. But I tell you guys, thank you so much. I will shout out to Wayback and Bon and Tony and all the great Aussies, Flex, everybody that's in my live streams. Thank you. And if you haven't joined the live stream, come on in and join us, man. We do Rangers, Knicks. We talk about everything. Americans, Aussies. It's a good old time, man. We just have a lot of fun in there. And that's what sports is about, having fun. Having fun. Oh, another thing. A lot of people have been asking me in the comments, so I'm going to show you. What size is that Sharon, Johnny? What size is it? It's regulation size. If you can see it, size 5. It's a size 5 ball, regulation size. Yeah, I hope you guys can see it because I can't see it from the camera where I'm at. So it is regulation size 5, and that's what we're working with there. So, and I'll be doing weekly or at least every 10 days updates, video out in the field, and doing my sharing practices so you guys can see my journey going forward with that and bouncing. I'm probably trying to look a little more amateur, trying to work up to being an amateur from just a basic bag of bones, freaking dead in the water athlete on the Sharon, because it's been pretty sad. But thank you all for watching and getting some good laughs out of it. I'm also going to be doing, at the end of every round, a ladder update. As you can see, we have the ladder there. The top 8 teams are the ones that count. It's only 1 week. I know it. My Brisbane Lions gave up more points than anybody else. They gave up 126 points. I think the second worst point total. Oh, well, Essendon beat up on Hawthorn, and they gave up 124 points, but the Lions take the cake, giving up the most points, forgetting there's a second half that has to be played in games where that we already went over that, and I did have a video out on that as well. So, getting into the Swans versus the Suns. What happened there? That game there, we're talking about Sydney, who is going to try to defy odds, defying the odds. Since 2000, no grand final loser by 40 points, and I don't mean the Swans are losers. I'm just saying loser of the final. So if you're a Swans fan, don't get offended. I'm not calling your team losers. Just the loser in the premiership. How about that? I'm going to use that word a lot. In the premiership has not come back and gone even further than the second week of the finals the very next season. No team's ever done it if you lost by 40 points or more. No team that's lost in the final has ever come back and made it further than the second week of the finals the following season. 6 out of 10 never even made the top 8 the next season. How about that? That happens a lot here in the NFL too. The loser of the Super Bowl sometimes doesn't even make the playoffs. The Rams won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. They finished, they weren't even near, they were out of the playoffs the second month into the season. They were devastated with injuries, all types of stuff. I mean, anything can happen. It always seems like the Super Bowl winner can have just as much downtime as the Super Bowl loser. Now, I'm going to find that out. That's true at the grand finals. We're going to find that out as well because the Rams beat the Bengals. The Bengals were the Super Bowl loser, and they made it all the way back into the playoffs. They almost made it back to another Super Bowl where the team that beat them, the Rams, weren't even close. So you never know when it comes to that. But in the AFL, I want to look through those grand finals and the premierships. I'm going to use that word a lot. I love it. It's my new Aussie word for the day. Anyway, the Swans. They came out guns a-blazing. Is this a revenge tour? Are they going to defy the odds? I mean, they came out. This game was over by the third quarter. The Swans, you guys know I take my notes. I do a lot of work in the morning before I get on here and do this. Buddy Franklin's hit. That's the biggest thing out of this game. Everything I read on this game, everybody was focused on the Buddy Franklin bump, which was totally unnecessary, apparently, after the third quarter. Well, the game was pretty much over after the third quarter. They were up 88-40. At halftime, it was 49-20. So you could already see the separation. Now, Gold Coast only finished 12th last year in the match. I mean, in the ladder. They finished 12th. So this was going to be a mismatch coming in right off the bat, no? So the big thing everybody seemed to be focusing on was Buddy Franklin. An aging Buddy Franklin. Why did he bump Gary Collins that way? Gary Collins had to go into concussion protocol. That's what we call it over here, concussion protocol. And why did he do it? So he's going to have... is that something he can get suspended for? How do they handle those things when a player has to be taken off the field for a concussion protocol? How do they actually handle these type of situations? Can he get fined, suspended? If they deem it legal? I understand the AFL says you have to have your eyes on the ball, and you guys have told me this a lot yourselves in the comments. You have to have your eyes on the ball. According to everything I've read and what I saw, Buddy Franklin never had his hands out going for the ball. It almost seemed like, as we call it over here, accidentally on purpose. Accidentally on purpose. Players that try to make something look like an accident, it was really on purpose. And the pure veterans, I don't care the sport, kind of know how to make a move and an illegal move by doing accidentally on purpose. And it's true. It's a term. You try to make the play look like an accident. So I guess that's what has to be reviewed. But from what I saw, he didn't have his hands out going for the ball yet before he was kind of deemed in it, zoned in on Collins. He just bumped him. It was a pretty hard bump. So I'm curious to see what the punishment or what the sanctions will be on Franklin, if any, or how severe or how not severe. That's going to be interesting to follow. So I'm going to check that out. But that seemed to be more of the highlight than the game itself. It was an obvious mismatch. I'd love to see the Swans. I would love to see the Swans defy the odds. I love seeing records broken. And since no one has ever done it, doesn't mean it can't be done. Let's see if the Swans can actually make it to the third week of the finals and beyond. You know they're going to go back. We see the top 8 right now. Of course, we've only had one round. So does this really count? Does it not? There's been some shockers this week. Some teams that you didn't expect to win, like St. Kilda beating Fremantle. Nobody saw that coming, right? St. Kilda kicked 5 goals at the end of the game and won that game. I'm going off the top of my head on that one. I hope it was 5 goals at the end, but I know it was. So, there can be upsets in the tipping, the whole thing. So I really been enjoying following this along and jumping on here and not being able to have a video kind of guide me along. When I do my own sports, I can do this stuff, no problem. When I'm on here, I'm going straight, but I use the notes, and who cares? So, the Swans looked really good. Everything I saw in that game, they looked outstanding, and the Suns just looked like they're a team that's trying to catch up. Not the worst team, not supposed to get the wooden spoon, but they're also not projected to get into the top 8 either. We'll see how that progresses. That's why we're going to do the ladder every single week. We're going to see who's in the top 8, who isn't going to be, and guys, see who's in the top 8 right now. What teams do you think won't be there? Tell me in the comments, what teams do you think will not be there come the finals at the end of the season? What teams right now shouldn't be there and you don't think will be there? Because we know the top 3 teams right now, the top 3 teams predicted coming into the season to be in the finals, even fight for the what? Premiership. Geelong, Brisbane, and who else was in there? Geelong, Brisbane. Oh, Melbourne, of course. Brisbane's playing Melbourne this week. These are 3 of the top teams that are supposed to be in there. They're supposed to be fighting for the premiership, right? These are the three top teams. Now, this is not my prediction. This is everything I've read through different avenues. I don't just read one article and buy everything I read there. I match it against multiple articles. And these are the three teams that are predicted to win. Geelong's defending champions. Melbourne's supposed to be hot. A lot of analysts really believe that the Demons are going to win this whole thing. And Brisbane, of course, is up and coming. They got 3 new guys on the team and drafted Will Ashcroft. Didn't look too great in the second half. But, again, it's just week 1. I just want to know what you guys feel after this first round. What team's in there right now you know won't be in there? Just from my infancy in this sport, I'm going to tell you right now, St. Kilda probably, from what I've watched and what I've read, probably shouldn't be there at the end of the season. Is that correct? We'll find out, man. So, moving right along here, the Swans, I think we're going to be okay. The big thing coming out of that game was an absolute disaster. It was a blowout. The Swans should... Well, I guess we're going to find out about Franklin. How do they handle these things, guys? Let me know. What would be the worst case scenario for Buddy Franklin? What would be the worst case scenario for him in a sanction? Would he get fined? Can he actually get suspended for a few games? Please, guys, let me know. So, we're going to move on, and we're going to go on to the Hawthorn Hawks and the Essendon Bombers. This was an interesting match, I thought. I thought this was an interesting match because from what I've read on the two teams, and remember, both of these teams were in my Final Four to choose. They both are rebuilding. They both are rebuilding teams, so you would think this would be a fairly close match, no? Man, Hawthorne is like really rebuilding. We found out how much they're rebuilding. They got rid of veterans Mitchell, Gunston, and O'Meara. So they cleared out all their older veterans, and they're going on pure youth. Pure inexperience, and that reared its ugly head in this game. Now, when you're a fan of a team that knows it's going in a rebuilding stage, I'm not pulling to a point at Brisbane right now. I'm talking to my Jets and my Knicks. And we can include Brisbane in that. They have been rebuilding. And now it's coming in. But when I point back there, you might as well count everything on that wall. Because I've been through it, man. I've been through the horrible seasons. My team's at the bottom of the basement and the doormats and all of that. But when it pays off, putting all your eggs in the basket to pay off on youth, watch out. Because if these young players start getting any sort of confidence, watch out. I don't know how confident Hawthorne is after this game. Sometimes you just got to chuck it up in the loss column and just move on to the next round. The thing with the AFL, the NFL, you got to wait a whole week. You got to sit with that loss, that beatdown for a whole week. At least in baseball, basketball, hockey, you can get another game the next day. Worst case, 2 days later, you can make up for that and move on. But when you got to wait an entire week and you got to let that simmer and sit and hear about it every single day from the coaches, that's kind of a tough deal right there. That's a really tough deal. The loss of 124-65 to an Essendon team that's the third youngest and the fourth, they say, least experienced team in the AFL. This should have been a way closer match. A way closer match. Did you see this? I mean, from the second quarter and the third quarter combined, Hawthorn only scored 1 goal and 4 behinds. They scored 8 points in the second quarter and 2 in the third. What? 8 points in the second quarter and 2 in the third. So they scored a goal and 2 behinds in the second and just 2 behinds in the third. Not going to be winning many matches. I could be new to the sport and know you're not winning many matches scoring like that. That score was pretty embarrassing. The fourth quarter, at least, they made a respectable. They lost the fourth quarter as well. They made a respectable 32-26. It's a little bit better than losing out on 39-2 and 34-8. 34-8 being the second quarter and 39-2 being the third quarter. Hawthorn has a lot of work to do. They have a lot of work to do to make up. And Essendon, look at them. They're number 1 on the ladder right now. These are the two teams from what I've been watching. Essendon is supposed to be fighting for the basement supremacy against Hawthorn. Basement supremacy is what we call it here in the United States when it deals with sports and teams. These are the two teams that were supposed to be battling for the wooden spoon, no? I mean, I'm sure there's a few other ones, but these are the two that, from what I've been reading, are expected to be the worst. Hawthorne's supposed to be the absolute worst. Now, again, guys, don't take this personally or offended. I'm just going on what I'm reading. What do I know? I'm just coming in here. It's my first season, and I'm doing everything I can to learn as much as I can in the 3 months, or a little over 3 months now that I've actually been following, and I'm dedicating all my time to this. So Hawthorne giving up all those players, kind of, gosh, has anybody ever, you know what, this brings up a question right now on the spot, I just thought of it. Has anybody gone defeated for the whole season, lost every round? Has anybody ever done it? Lost every single round? Just a donut. We've had it happen twice in the NFL. The Lions, the Detroit Lions, sorry Grady, got a great Aussie that follows me. That's a Detroit Lions fan and a Brisbane Lions fan. So sorry to bring that up, Grady. You're a great supporter of my channel and my live streams. But we had the Detroit Lions did the 0 for 16 for the season. And we also had the Cleveland Browns that went above and beyond. They went above and beyond. They not only went 0 and 16 in the regular season, but they started the next season 0 and 3 to go 0 and 19 before they finally beat somebody. Finally, who was that team? You know it. You already know who that team is because you see them all the time. Them. My team was the one that said, hey man, we're going to help you out. New York, we're the Statue of Liberty. Bring us your poor, bring us your weak, bring us your bad sports teams. We're going to help you all out. And that's what the Jets did. They opened up their arms and say, hey, you're 0 and 19. Let's help you out. So you see what I mean? You can't make this stuff up. But anyway. Hawthorne, I'm asking you guys, could they go defeated the whole season, and has that ever happened before? So I found this game very interesting. The Essendon Bombers are also on their way up again. They're the third youngest but fourth least experienced. That doesn't mean anything. These players can catch fire. Sometimes teams go on name players. Look at all these great names these teams have. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win. How do these guys get these names? By being draftees that may or may not do something. Sometimes these are guys that you've never even heard of. Sometimes the greatest players in the history of the sport are guys you've never heard of. Coming in, and then all of a sudden they have monster names. It can happen. You can have young teams catch fire because they play as a team. They're willing to play as a team because no one's developed any egos yet. They just want to get their name out there, and they want to get wins under their belt, and they want to go for premierships. They want to go for Super Bowls, World Series, what have you. Oh, baseball's back in a couple of weeks. I'm so excited. I'm going to be super busy with all these things going on from live streaming. But AFL is my baby right now. This is my project. This is something I'll be doing every week, every round. I'm going to be on this, and I'm going to be on this ladder. And I'm going to be doing as most popular teams as I could do, the most popular matchups, the most popular games, and the things that you guys think I'm steering away from or haven't touched on. Let me know, please. But I'm just going to be doing as much as I can. So the most popular teams, Collingwood, Essendon, these kind of teams, Sydney, we're going to be doing these teams. Melbourne Demons are coming out now. Brisbane Lions, of course, that's my team now. I'm going to be doing them as well. But just because I'm a Lions fan doesn't mean I won't be doing the other teams. I will. I know there's a humongous following amongst the teams I just mentioned. They will be singled out by me so I could do those games individually for the big fan bases that these teams have. Definitely going to do that for you guys. I have no problems doing it. It helps me out too because I am student of the game. So, in these matches here, this first round, I don't know, there wasn't seem to be too many upsets. Brisbane losing, that was an upset. And St. Kilda beating Fremantle, I noticed, was the other upset because St. Kilda wasn't even in the top 8 last year. And Fremantle, I believe, finished number 5. So, and I believe, if I'm right on this, St. Kilda's coach was the former coach of the Fremantle Dockers and the former coach of St. Kilda, who's now a retread back on there. I believe his name is Ross Lyon. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And he delivered the win. They got 5 goals at the end of that game and picked that up. So, guys, man, this is a journey for me this season. Every week, I'm going to be doing the ladders every week, and I'm thinking of other ideas of how to go about. I'm emailing the AFL. I'm emailing a lot of people. Let them know what this American's trying to do to get this sport out there and get other people knowing how great this sport is. And you guys will be following along with me as we go out onto the country, out into the town. Let's see what the USAFL is all about so I can bring that to you guys, vlogging live from these practices, from their games. We're going to be out there doing a lot of things. I'm in between the New York Magpies and the Philadelphia Hawks. I'm in between both. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff this year, guys, and I appreciate you getting on this journey with me. I'm going to get better and better as every round goes along. I'm on top of this stuff, guys. I promise you. I am Johnny Basement. Please subscribe, hit that bell notice, hit the like button. Keep supporting. I love you guys very much, man. I really love the Aussie passion for this game. You guys keep this rolling. Basement Squad Reacts, you guys are freaking lighting up my channel over there, too. We're almost at 1,000 subs on that one. Just a big old thank you from this New Yorker that I'm loving the Australian style of life, the passion and everything you guys have for your country, your sport, and each other. This has been a lot of fun, guys. Join us in one of these live streams on mine. Hit your bell notice. You'll know when I'm on. You'll know when I'm on. Thank you, guys. We'll see you this week as I'm going to be taking out individual time to the most popular teams and doing pieces on them. We're going to be doing pieces on Collingwood, Essendon, Sydney, and so on. So, guys, until the next video, let's get on for round 2, and I'll see you about middle of the week for the rest of the videos, guys. Thank you again. I'm Johnny Basement, and I am out.